Keep tomatoes fresh for 2 months with this amazing trick. Hello, nice to see you again on Clever Tricks. Are you a big fan of tomatoes? Whether it's a morning sandwich, a refreshing salad, or a hot stir-fry, tomatoes always quietly appear and brighten up the flavor of the meal. But there's a small problem that makes everyone hesitate to buy a lot of tomatoes at once. They spoil quickly. It's not worth it to waste money and food, right? But don't worry. Today, we'll reveal a super simple but surprisingly effective secret, helping you keep tomatoes fresh for 2 months straight. From now on, you can freely buy tomatoes in large quantities without worrying about them turning into a soft pile in the refrigerator. Method 1. First, wash the tomatoes. I have created subtitles in multiple languages. Please select your preferred language. Comment below and let me know which country you are watching from. It's amazing that we can connect from all around the world. Where are you from? It's such a joy that we're connecting from all over the world. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, hit the subscribe button. Thank you for your support. Cut them into pieces and place them in an airtight freezer bag. Close the bag, leaving a small slit for a straw. Suck out all the air, seal the bag. This creates a vacuum. Ready to freeze, tomatoes will keep for months. You can also freeze whole tomatoes. Method 2, I will show you how to defrost. I made 2 small cuts on each tomato. Poured boiling water over it. Let it sit for about 30 seconds. Poured boiling water over it. Let it sit for about 30 seconds. Then I peel and chop it. Add a clove of garlic and a little extra virgin olive oil. I put the tomatoes in and cook for about 10 minutes from the time the water boils. The tomato sauce is ready. Fresh tomatoes, more flavorful than unfrozen tomatoes. Method 3. Preserve tomatoes by taping the stems. When you buy fresh tomatoes, don't wash them right away, as water can soften the skin and make them more susceptible to damage. Now, take a basket or tray. Then, place each tomato on the basket with the stem facing down. This will help reduce water loss and make the tomatoes ripen more evenly. Arrange all the tomatoes. If any of them don't have stems, use tape to cover the stems. This will help prevent bacteria from entering and retain the necessary moisture for longer storage. When you eat them, just remove the tape, wash them, and prepare them. If you don't tape them, the tomatoes will ripen automatically in 1 to 2 days. You should only arrange tomatoes in one layer, not on top of each other, to avoid crushing the fruit. With this method, you only need to leave them at room temperature, but it will take up a bit of space if you have a lot of tomatoes. The preservation time in this way is 10 days. Method 4. Use toilet paper or newspaper to wrap each tomato tightly. Wrapping the paper will reduce the amount of air contact with the tomatoes, retain moisture, help the tomatoes stay fresh longer, and retain their color. Where are you from? It's such a joy that we're connecting from all over the world. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, hit the subscribe button. Thank you for your support. Next, prepare a paper box. Now prepare some edible baking soda and sprinkle a thin layer on the bottom of the box. You don't need much. Baking soda is edible, so it is very safe. It will absorb moisture, helping the tomatoes stay fresh longer. Then, arrange the tomatoes. Remember not to put them too close together. If there are many tomatoes, you can put more cardboard between the layers and continue to arrange them. With this method, you can keep the tomatoes for 1 month at room temperature while still maintaining their flavor and freshness. Finally, close the lid of the box and store in a cool, dry place away from sunlight. Method 5. Store in a Ziploc bag. First, we'll start with the most important step, washing tomatoes properly, both to remove bacteria and not to damage their delicate skin. Just a bowl of clean water and add about 2 tablespoons of white vinegar. No vinegar? No problem. A few drops of fresh lemon or a little iodine solution will also work well. White vinegar is mildly acidic, enough to safely kill bacteria and microorganisms that stick to the skin of vegetables. Soaking tomatoes in vinegar water not only helps remove dirt from soil or traces from human hands, but is also health-friendly, completely different from soaps or industrial detergents. After 5 minutes of soaking, just rinse gently with clean water and you're done. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, hit the subscribe button. Thank you for your support. Finally, don't forget to use a paper towel or clean towel to dry each fruit carefully. Because if you let water accumulate, especially at the bottom, tomatoes will spoil faster than you think. Once everything is completely dry, you're ready for the next transformation step, long-term storage. Once your tomatoes are washed and dried, the next important step is to sort them into different Ziploc bags according to their ripeness. This may seem like a small thing, but it's very important if you want to keep your tomatoes for a long time without them spoiling too soon. Divide them into 2 groups, firm, unripe tomatoes and soft, fully red tomatoes. Then place a kitchen towel at the bottom of the zip-top bag. This layer of towel will help absorb the natural moisture from the tomatoes. Moisture is a major cause of mold and spoilage, especially in a closed environment like a zip-top bag. Get a few clean, dry Ziploc bags. The firm ones should be placed in a separate bag. They ripen more slowly and can be stored longer. Conversely, the soft red ones should be placed in a separate bag because they bruise easily and tend to release ethylene gas, which speeds up the ripening process of surrounding fruits. After arranging the tomatoes in the bag, suck out as much air as possible from the bag to reduce oxidation. You can do this by gently sucking out the air with a straw, or hold the end of the bag near the nozzle of a hairdryer on cool setting to suck out the air. This limits the oxygen exposure to the tomatoes, which will help slow down spoilage and extend their shelf life. Then, seal the bag to prevent air from getting in. Once you have two separate bags, one for firm tomatoes, one for soft tomatoes, store them in the crisper drawer of your refrigerator. Before putting them in, line the bottom of the drawer with a clean, dry towel to absorb excess moisture and keep them clean. Place the bag of hard tomatoes at the bottom and the bag of soft tomatoes at the top to avoid bruising and to make it easier to take the ripe ones first, helping to limit waste. If after a month, the tomatoes are still fresh and show no signs of spoilage, you can repeat this process to extend the storage time even further. This method is especially useful when you can't go to the market often or when you want to stock up on tomatoes while still maintaining their quality. Method 6. Dice and freeze. This next method not only saves you time, but also keeps your tomatoes fresher than the first method by dicing them before storing. First, cut off the top and bottom of the tomatoes. These are the parts that are most likely to contain pesticide residue. Then, cut the tomatoes into bite-sized cubes, which are great for cooking later. You may not know, tomatoes contain lycopene, a powerful antioxidant that may help reduce the risk of heart disease and prostate cancer, and also support healthy skin. Since learning this, I've been adding tomatoes to my daily meals. That's why this trick for pre-cutting and freezing tomatoes saves my family time. Now all you have to do is divide the diced tomatoes into small zip-top bags. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, hit the subscribe button. Thank you for your support. Next, use a straw to suck out the air, then seal the bags and store them in the freezer. This step helps prevent freezer burn and keeps tomatoes fresh longer. This way, tomatoes can last from 3 to 6 months, very convenient for making sauces, stir-frying tomatoes, or any dish that requires cooked tomatoes. When you need to use them, just take the bag out of the freezer, let it thaw for a few minutes, and you can cook it. Thanks to this tip, you have saved time and effort cutting tomatoes every day. After thawing, the tomatoes still retain their fresh color and shape, as if they had just been bought. Isn't that greedy? In fact, rotten tomatoes can also be used as fertilizer. Don't throw them away, it's a waste. The method is very simple. Prepare a plastic bottle. The method is very simple. Prepare a plastic bottle. The method is very simple. Prepare a plastic bottle. Where are you from? It's such a joy that we're connecting from all over the world. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, hit the subscribe button. Thank you for your support. Next, pour a little rice water into the bottle. Rice water is the water obtained after washing or soaking rice. Can be reused for many different purposes. If you don't have rice water, you can use regular water. Don't fill the bottle, leave about 1 to 2 cm. Close the bottle tightly. Shake well to dissolve the tomatoes and water together. Then place in a cool, dry place to wait for fermentation for 5 to 7 days. Then place in a cool, dry place to wait for fermentation for 5 to 7 days. Avoid using glass bottles because the gas pressure can cause the bottle to explode. After the fermentation period, use a sieve to filter the water. Because the fermented tomato juice has a lot of small residue, use a spoon to scoop out the water. Now you can use this water to water plants, flowers, or ornamental plants. Prepare a watering can. Pour in the fermented water. Before watering, dilute it with water in a ratio of 1:5. Because the fermented tomato juice is very concentrated, watering directly can have the opposite effect. Close the lid of the watering can, shake well. Rotten tomatoes are rich in organic matter and nutrients, which will be released during the fermentation process. This water provides essential nutrients for plants such as nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium, etc. etc. In addition, the acid in tomatoes helps adjust the pH of the soil, making the soil more suitable for plant growth. Rice water is also very good for plants. When combined with fermented tomatoes, the nutritional value is even higher, helping plants germinate and flower well. Take advantage of this easy-to-find ingredient to create a colorful garden. For plants with yellow leaves, watering with fermented tomato juice will help the plants become green again. However, it is necessary to adjust the usage and frequency depending on the type of plant and the growing environment. Avoid overuse to avoid making the soil too rich or affecting the growth of the plant. The video ends here. If you have any comments, please leave a comment below. If you find it interesting, please like the video. Don't forget to share it with your relatives and friends. Remember to subscribe to the channel to support. Thank you for watching. Goodbye. See you in the next video.